Shields up, Ironbreakers. Workan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter, and even though I've been spending most of my time playing Generations Ultimate over the last couple of days, that doesn't mean that there aren't still a couple of things I would like to share with you in regards to World. Namely, this is my updated Normal Shelling Level 7 Gunlance build, which I haven't really made a video on. I've actually made this build quite a while ago. But yeah, I just haven't gotten around to making a video on it, so I figured I'd do it now. I've actually had a couple of requests in previous videos saying, hey, you got an updated Normal Shelling Level 7 build? And yeah, I do. So let's check it out, shall we? So for this build, we're going to be using a Safi Shatter Burster. I understand that maybe not everyone's been farming Safi Jiva. Maybe some of you guys are just not particular fans of Safi Jiva. I completely understand. It is also possible to do this build using Stygians and Ogre's Gunlance. I'll tell you what you have to swap in terms of decorations because you're not going to be able to put a tier 4 deco in here. So there are some concessions that you will have to make. But for the build that I have right now, we got a Safi Shatter Burster. As you can see, it's got some decent raw damage. It's got 5% affinity, got some blast in there, and you have a tier 4 slot and naturally normal shelling level 7. Now, in awakened abilities for this Gunlance, I put shelling normal 2 to get that shelling up to level 7. We got 2 sharpness increases, one at 6 and one at 5, and then we have 2 attack increases 5. Because you want to get as much raw damage as possible on this one as well, because when it comes to normal shelling, it's not just about the sharpness, particularly if you happen to be using the set that I'm using right now. You want to get a little bit more attack power on it. So you got that going for it. In terms of augmentations, right now we only have health regen because I haven't really bothered to augment this particular Gunlance. I'll probably be doing that pretty soon though. So we got health regen. The other thing that I would recommend would be affinity increase and element status effect up. Looking over at the decorations, you'll see that on the Shatter Burster we have a Tenderizer Vitality deco. If you happen to be using the Stygians and Ogre instead, you just put a Tenderizer deco in there and you're going to have to take a loss on one of the Vitality points, which is not really a massive deal. So this is perfectly viable with the Stygians and Ogre Gunlance if you don't want to mess around with Safi and, you know, awaken abilities on your Gunlance. Maybe you're just trying out Gunlances for the first time and you want it to do normal shelling. That's another way that you can do it without using Safi's Shatter Burster, but in my opinion, the Shatter Burster will still give you a superior experience. Then we got the Brachydium Helm Alpha Plus. Some of you guys might wonder why the Alpha version of Raging Brachydio's helmet. The reasoning is, personally, I like guard. I know that not everybody wants to put points into defensive skills. A lot of people just want to go, no man, I want full meta, full damage, full everything. I don't really think like that, so I go after utility as well as damage wherever I can. And with this helmet in Alpha Plus, you get to have +2 guard, which is very useful as far as I'm concerned. Then we got a magazine jewel in there and a sharp decoration in there as well. That sharp is to try and get you to take as much advantage of the purple sharpness as possible. You know, depending on the monster, how much it moves and all of that, the sharp decoration might give you a couple of advantages here and there. I will not be taking speed sharpening, which some of you will be like, why not? Because there's another skill that I value more than that one. Then we have Vitality Jewel as well. Then we have Brachydius Male Beta with Jumping Evasion. You can really put whatever skill you want in combination with that jumping in there if you want to put something else. I like having a little bit of evasion, but it's not really mandatory for this build. You got a shield decoration because the Gunlance is tremendously hard sometimes to dodge some of the attacks that you can't block, so therefore having a shield deco helps out immensely with that. An Iron Wall Jewel, which combined with the Brachydius helmet is going to give you 3 guard, and 3 guard is usually enough to withstand most of the attacks before you have to commit to 5 to really, you know, become a little bit beefier. Then we have the Brachydium Bracers Alpha because you want Agitator as well as the Artillery. Actually, you want the Artillery for this set more so than the Agitator. The Agitator just happens to come with it. You got Tenderizer and jumping on there. On the Brachydium Folds Alpha, we got a Brace Jewel. This is the usual song and dance that I always tell you guys. If you don't play with other people, if you just play solo, then feel free to just take something else you want. But I play a lot with other players, so I tend to want to have a Brace Jewel so that I'm not constantly getting staggered. And let me tell you, Flinch Free, if I could speak. Flinch Free is one of the best additions to Monster Hunter World, coming from Generations Ultimate, where there is no Flinch Free. Yeah, let me tell you. Anyway, Silver Soul Greaves Beta, and this is the thing that usually puzzles some people because I think that a lot of people are not aware of the fact that if you have Slinger Expert, that means that your Wyvern Stake blasts last longer. I always get this question, Murakan, why do you want Slinger Expert? And it's like, that's why. It makes your Wyvern Stake blasts last longer. I even had someone the other day tell me like, stones are the best because there's a lot of them. And it's like, no, it's the quantity of the ammunition and the quality of the ammunition, okay? It's quantity and quality. So having Stone Thrower Expert up to level 3 is a massive boon in terms of quality of life for Gunlance, as far as I'm concerned. Like, if you guys like having to reapply your Wyvern Stake blasts every so minutes, sure, but this makes a massive difference to me, so this is why I put it on the build. Then we got the Earplugs Charm rounding out the build because, you know, I like having my earplugs. On here, oh yeah, I didn't mention what the decos weren't here. Earplug Vitality, Jumping, and Stone Thrower. Then finally on the Glider Metal, we got Destroyer Evasion, 2 of them. Again, the Evasion is just something that I really like. Evasion ever since I started playing SNS a while back. I just really like having Evasion on my sets, so usually whenever I go for a secondary skill, I try to slot Evasion wherever I can. We got Temporal Mantle, which you guys already know is to ensure that you get those early slams to get the openings to deploy the Worm Stake. Now, looking at the final build, you'll notice we have Agitator 7, Earplugs 5, Artillery 5, Health Boost 5, Weakness Exploit 3, Evade Extender 3, Guard 3, Slinger Capacity 3, Capacity Boost, Evade Window, Flinch Free, Guard Up, and Protective Polish, and then Part Breaker whenever we are running the Glider Mantle. This set also comes with Agitator Secret and Artillery Secret, which is reflected by the Agitator 7 or Artillery 5 in the set, and this is what I use for normal shelling. Some of you guys might be wondering, why do you care about Agitator? For starters, it's in the set, so it's like you can't really avoid it all that much. I mean, you can avoid it, but there's no real reason to do so, so you might as well get it. And the benefit that you get from it is if you use the old school Worm Stake, not the Worm Stake Blast, the old one, you're gonna get a little bit bigger ticks, and whenever you hit the monster, because you know the motion values of the combo for normal shelling, they deal a significant amount of melee damage. So when you hit them, it's gonna hurt. And that's why I would also like to have a little bit more affinity on the weapon, because I'd like to have that weakness exploit and even more than what you get with the Agitator, but you know, it is what it is. This is as far as I could take it while still maintaining a lot of the quality of life that I personally value in the Gunlance. Now you can take some of the quality of life away and maybe get some other stuff that you like maybe you don't care about Slinger Capacity, maybe you'd like to get something else, then go for it. It's completely up to each individual player. Maybe you want to put crit boost in here to get some more damage, but personally I value uptime more so than just raw damage. But if you're a more skilled player, then you probably don't really need to be watching this video anyway. But anyway, that is going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, leave it a like. If you did not enjoy it, leave it a dislike. Feedback is important. If you usually enjoy my content, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all of that usual stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, stay healthy, and may your shields never break.